the things that I'm about to share with you, some of my closest friends may have never heard, let alone family members. There are some things that I may not have even uttered before. This is truly off with the mask, the transparent me. Welcome to our first episode of Off with the Mask, the Transparent Me. I'm so excited to be here. And I mean here, right now, in this very moment. I'm excited to be walking in the path that was already laid out before me. There's an unexplained feeling when you know unequivocally and undoubtedly that you are on the right path. Not the wrong one, not the one you're unsure of, but the right one. The path of direct obedience created just for me. So I'm here. Hello, I'm your host, Keisha Hughes. And in this season, we are still standing. We may not have asked for the life we were handed. We might have felt abandoned, violated, betrayed, beaten, used, unheard, brokenhearted, and unloved. I mean, come on, the list goes on, but we're still standing. Through it all, we made it. We may have some scars, but I want to encourage you. There was life after that, and there is a renewed life after this. I've been so moved by this Bible verse. Can I share it with you? It's not one that you hear very often, but it's a powerful message. You can find it in Isaiah 48 and 21. And it says, "They did not thirst when he led them through the deserts. He made water flow for them from the rock. He split the rock and water gushed out." Now, this verse is a reminder to the Israelites of what God did for them during the Exodus. This verse is it's so meaningful to me because all of those feelings that I mentioned before, abandonment and unloved and all of those things, that might be your dry place. In other words, your desert, as it said. Know that God can nourish you in every hot, cold, and yes, I said cold because there are cold deserts, barren, desolate, dry place of your life. And here is the part that I really love, and I mean love. He did it from a rock. He gave us water when we thought we weren't going to make it. From one of the hardest things. It's our hard things that God uses to give us everything we need to make it, to make us stronger, to rebuild us. With that being said, if it's the hard things that's going to allow me to continue my journey, then it's time to take off the mask. Allow me in this season of still standing to take you through my journey of a hard thing. Something I didn't ask nor deserved. My hard thing is unfortunately all too common, but I'm here. Now, the things that I'm about to share with you, some of my closest friends may have never heard, let alone family members. There are some things that I may not have even uttered before. This is truly off with the mask, the transparent me. So I grew up in church all of my life. My mom, I remember her having, one to two jobs, growing up. And so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. She definitely had a hand in raising me, and God rest her soul, she was my heart. And so, I appreciate her so much for bringing me to church with her, making sure that we were up for Sunday school and in that Buick, and we were heading out to church every Sunday. When we were off from school, we were there during noonday prayer. We were in Sunday school. We were in YPWW. We were there. And it changed my life. And I'm so appreciative of it for her. I remember when I was 5 years old, again, being in Sunday school and learning, there was a critical moment where the teacher was doing her job in ministry and teaching us about Jesus. And I just remember as that 5-year-old sitting there in this small space, looking at the board and all the pictures and things of that nature, and just looking up and listening to her and falling in love with Jesus. I remember saying to myself, wow, this Jesus is amazing. I want to marry him. And of course, as time went by, I understood more and more about Jesus and that I couldn't marry him, of course. But from that point on, I fell in love with Jesus. I believed in him. I believed everything about him. I believe he was born. I believe he died. I believe he was raised from the dead. And I believe that he loved me. He loved me. He loved me so much that he knew I needed him at age 5. He knew what would happen. At age 5, 2 family members, and if I can calculate the ages correctly, one 13 approximately, and the other 18. Both boys and or man at the time, and they were family members. And, because it is trauma, I don't remember all the details. I do remember kind of being summoned and, to be in corners of homes and things of that nature, and being touched inappropriately and so on. And, this began first with the 18-year-old. And then eventually he brought his brother in, the 13-year-old. I remember this being ongoing multiple times, most times in the same place, maybe another time somewhere else. And then distinctly, I remember taking a trip to the islands and really enjoying my time there away from home. And I was there for a long period of time. I remember celebrating a birthday, and I turned 6 years old. And truthfully, that is the only reason why I remember how old I was. And I remember coming back from that trip, that vacation. I also remember looking at a picture of myself in my adulthood. And, back in the day, we're talking about, the 80s now, you used to dress up, for trips and vacations. So I remember in this picture, I had a pink dress on with the little pleats. And, back then Kmart was our thing, right? And so we had the teddy bear, the teddy bear that came out every year around the holidays and had the year on it and what have you. And I remember squeezing that teddy bear on that airplane with my little necklace, and someone took that picture of that bright girl. I remember that. And I remember coming home and getting out of the car in front of the house. And I remember looking up and praying to my Jesus that I loved so much, and praying the prayer of, Lord, I'm a big girl now. I'm 6 years old. I hope they don't want me anymore. I remember asking a lot of questions of them after that point. And it wasn't too long after that it stopped. I thought many times to share. But there was one time when I made it up in my mind that I wasn't going to share. And I thought of two things. I don't want to be responsible for breaking up my family. That was my 6-year-old mind. I didn't want to be that individual. I didn't want to create dissension among my family. I also knew that my mom was a protector. And so, quite frankly, I didn't want my mom to go to jail, because I knew that if I told her, my mom would be somewhere locked up, and I did not want that to happen to my mother. And so I didn't tell anybody. I lived the 6-year-old life, the 7-year-old life, and so on with my secret. Have you ever held on to a little big secret? This was my little secret, but it was so big, and the weight of it all was very heavy. Sometimes those things can take you into a place you don't want to be. Some of those feelings that I talked about earlier on. It's a place that is lonely, that weighs you down in a way where sometimes all you have really is to look up. And so when I said that, Jesus knew I needed him then, I really meant that. I needed him to get me through this time. I needed him to just believe in something else. Believe in something outside of what happened to me. I'm here because of him. I'm still standing because of my faith, because of him. Did I go through life perfectly? No. Of course, there was residue, if you will, that occurred. There were things that happened. There were strong feelings that I had and I responded to. But I am here. Stay with me. You'll hear about those things. But I want to encourage you to hear the rest of my journey. Hear my hard thing. I take my mask off for complete healing. And I'm hopeful that this will strengthen you and encourage you to do the same. This may not be your story. This may not have been your hard thing. But everybody has a hard thing. And oftentimes we cover it up to just keep going and blending in the crowd. We don't want anybody to know what really happened. We don't want anybody to know the real story. We don't want anybody to know who we really are when they're not watching. Today, in today's world, it's so important that we take the mask off and let this generation know in a language that they understand who God is, what He has brought you from, what He's brought me from. If we cover it, they'll never know. If we hide it, they'll never know. They'll continue thinking that they are alone and no one has ever gone through this, the shame of it all. But little do they know that you may have gone through the same exact thing. Let's tell our story. Let's be transparent. Think about it. Think about the healing that can take place for a nation, for a world that's hurting. We might be trying to protect someone, but like I said before, some of these things my family doesn't even know. In this seat right here, this is the seat of transparency. I'm determined, and I'm taking root in transparency. Not to hurt anybody's feelings, not to put someone's business out there, because that's not what this is for. This is called proper healing. Not just skimming off the top. No, we want to be healed completely and wholly. So I'm taking my mask off. I knew it was time to share my pain. As strange as this may sound, when I aligned myself with what God wanted. And so sometimes I was over here and it wasn't where God wanted me to be. As I mentioned, there's this confidence that I have in being on that path of obedience. And I was always the person that someone would say, how do you go through all that stuff? Man, you've been through a lot. Man, how are you still standing? And of course, I've been through some things beyond even what I've shared with you just now. But I had to get to a place of alignment with God to be able to share my story. I couldn't be in a place where I wavered. I couldn't be in a place where I wasn't grounded. I couldn't be in a place where I was concerned of what the next person thought about me. I had to be exactly where God wanted me to be able to share my pain and tell my story and sit in this seat. I had to go through many days of pain and sorrow to be here today. And so it was my obedience. God, why did I go through all of this? I would ask him. Why me? I would ask him. I've tried to do everything right. Not perfect, of course, but I tried. Why do I have to continue to go through? And then one day, I understood my suffering is for his glory. So that I could tell you today what I've been through and help heal the brokenhearted. That God could use me as a vessel to help you through your journey in life. It took me nearly 3 years from the time that the Lord specifically told me to do this podcast and that I was going to do a podcast. It took me nearly 3 years to get here. I saw myself in this space. I may not have known the stories that I would tell, but I know the life that I lived, and boy, oh boy, are there stories. But there were also some things that happened to me and that I was experiencing that caused delay. And even though I knew God told me this, even though I know God told me to do it, there was delay. And it wasn't necessarily nervousness that was causing me the delay at the time. And I'll tell you about that in a second. It was life. It was life happenings that caused the delay. And I had the appetite. I wanted to do it. I knew it was coming. I was excited about it. But then something would happen and it would delay me. And then something else would happen and it would delay me. And oftentimes, that's really what it is, isn't it? We allow life to intervene and become a barrier in our path, right? The path that God has literally, think of snow, right? We're just kind of coming out of the snowy season and God has literally plowed the road for you. It's clear. Opened up the Red Sea. Your path is clear. And then we allow life to just put it right back on top. But I got here. I finally got here. And boy, oh boy, was I nervous. I was so nervous and I didn't want to mess it up. And I'm emotional right now because I still don't want to mess it up. Because I know the impact that transparency has. And I just want to do it right. So through the nerves, through it's not even a lack of confidence, but through the weight and the pressure of it all, I know this has purpose and I want to get it right. And I will get it right through it all, which is why this is so important to me, because he has never left my side. And he has always been there, step by step by step. I may have misstepped from time to time, but he has always guided me. And because I'm on the path now that he wants me on, I can hear so clearly from him. I can hear the quietest voice. I can see things. And it's just a beautiful place to be in his presence and walking in obedience. It makes a difference. So through fear, I'm doing it. I'm persevering. I'm making it happen no matter what happens in life. There's things that are happening right now, but I am here and I am determined because he is here with me and he's also here with you. Because I went through these things just so I can tell you and help you. Stay with me to hear more of my journey, my hard thing. I take my mask off for complete healing, and I'm hopeful this will strengthen you and encourage you to do the same. You are not alone. Before we end each episode this season, I want to leave with you a piece of me, a self-written poem to capture the ride we just took together. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Replay it, sit with it, let it encourage you, even in the quietest hours of the night. Much love to you. See you next week. I heard your voice calling, and I am here. My eyes have been opened to my suffering and why I am here. My love for you began at 5, and because of you, I am alive. I am here. You never left my side. You never turned away. I am grateful to you, and I am here. It hurt. It was painful. Life has not been perfect, and I would not have chosen it. But I am here. I could have died. I could have lost my mind, but I am here. I know that weeping only endures for a night, and joy comes in the morning. That's why I am here. Glory to your name. Glory. You have lifted me up out of the ashes. You have put me on your back so I can experience what soaring is like. You elevated me out of myself. You gave me water in the dry places, and I am here. I am here. I am here.